Shanti, how are you? So, in all religious scriptures, it is common that there will be certain things that causes a really bad reputation to God or some godly figures. Likewise, even in Ramayana, there is a particular incident that caused really bad reputation for Lord Rama, and that incident is where Sri Ram hides behind a tree and shoots arrow at Vali and kills him. So, after getting shot by the arrow of Sri Ram, Vali himself asks Ram on why he killed him. Did he do anything bad to him in order for him to attack him? So Ram says it is because Vali was not loving to his own younger brother Sugriv, and he actually sent him away from his kingdom after snatching the kingdom from him, and also he has taken Sugriv's wife by force. So this proves that he is worth of getting punished, and that is the reason Ram says he has shot an arrow on Vali. So he says a king is not expected to fight with a criminal. Instead, he should be punishing the criminal. So that is the reason Ram argues that he is not fighting with him face to face. Instead, he was just punishing him by hiding behind a tree. Not only that, the wife of his younger brother should be treated as his own daughter. Instead, he was actually lusting after her. So that is a form of sin that needs to be punished with murder, not only in this birth, but he should also be murdered in his next birth. So such is the severity of that kind of sin. And also Ram says that he should be thankful to Ram for liberating him from the lustfulness and the ego, which is the root cause for all his misbehavior towards his own brother and his wife. And also Ram was basically helping Sugriv get his kingdom back, and also he expects Sugriv to help him find his wife Sita. So now Vali gets really curious on why he befriended Sugriv instead of Vali, because Vali is more powerful physically than Ravan. So if he had befriended Vali instead of Sugriv, it's going to be very easy for Vali to retrieve Sita from Ravan. So for that, Ram answers that he will never befriend an unrighteous person, nor will he ever stand by the unrighteous person. So only those who are walking in the righteous path are eligible to seek the help from God, and even God will seek the help of a righteous person. So in Ramayana itself, Ram has answered enough. And also those who want to justify Ram's action usually says that Vali has got a bone from a saint that anyone who confronts Vali will have to lose half of his power to Vali, which is why Ram did not face Vali while trying to kill him. So it has got all the answers. Regardless of that, people are not convinced of any such reasons, because they want Ram to stand face in face with Vali, because he is God. He is not supposed to act like a coward hiding behind a tree to kill anybody, no matter how villainous he is. But one thing I really don't understand is how people are convinced that a God can kill somebody, but they are not just comfortable that he is not killing right in front of him. Because we can't imagine Jesus Christ killing anybody, right? And Jesus is not even a God. He is considered a son of God. But if you're strongly convinced that God will kill the wicked, then he should kill everybody in Kali Yuga, because everybody in Kali Yuga is wicked. Actually, Kali Yuga itself is the age where people all become wicked. So you don't expect God to kill you, right? Also, Ram did not kill Vali in the first round of fight between Sugriv and Vali. Why? Because Lord Ram got really confused because both Sugriv and Vali looked alike. So he asked Sugriv to wear a garland so that he can differentiate between the two. So Sugriv took that advice and he went for the second round with his brother. So that's when he actually shot Vali. So after killing Vali and getting the kingdom back to Sugriv, Sugriv actually forgets the promise he made to Ram. So he was just enjoying his royal life. So Ram get real angry with him. Only then Sugriv realized his mistake. Then he started helping Ram in finding his wife Sita. So this makes us wonder if God really expects anything in return for helping us. If he does, then what's the difference between God and human? Even there are many good people who doesn't expect anything in return for their help. So if God doesn't expect anything in return, if God is not someone who murders people, then what does this story actually represent? So does it have any deep spiritual secret behind these incidents? Of course, there is a deep spiritual secret behind these incidents. So all religious scriptures represent a particular incident that happened at a certain level during the end times, that is 100 years before the destruction of this old world. So this is a 5,000 year time cycle, and whatever happens in one kalpa, which is this 5,000 year. So whatever happens in one kalpa keeps repeating kalpa after kalpa, and the last 100 years is very significant because it is in the last 100 years God Shiva himself comes from his supreme abode. He enters an old man's body and gives the divine teachings that is necessary to destroy all the evil qualities that is present in all the people of Kali Yuga, that is the old world which is now. So it is by destroying the devilish qualities that is within us and by filling ourselves with the divine qualities like love, peacefulness, blissfulness and purity, one becomes eligible to enter heaven again, because it was heaven for the first 2500 years and hell for the last 2500 years. So in the last 100 years of hell, God gives these teachings to convert us back to deities. So it is this incident of cleaning our souls from all devilish qualities that is represented as Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bible, Quran and many other religious stories. So God doesn't take birth like us from a mother's womb. So he doesn't have a body on his own. He enters an old man's body directly and starts giving these divine teachings called Murli, which is available absolutely free of cost in all Brahma Kumaris Rajog meditation centers. It is also available in many websites and YouTube channels. I'll be giving the links of them in the description below. Please make use of it. The essence of God's teachings is we have to consider ourselves to be the souls that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why Hindus apply tilak in between the eyebrows. So we need to consider ourselves to be an imperishable soul and not as perishable bodies. So that is what called as being soul conscious. That's how we were originally in the beginning while the world was heaven. And that is the main reason we did not have any devilish qualities like lust, anger, greed, attachment, or ego. And that is the main reason we were all blissful continuously for the first 2500 years. And after the completion of first 2500 years, we slowly become body conscious, because of which we will no longer be blissful, because the true nature of the soul itself is blissfulness. Because we were soul conscious for the first 2500 years, we were able to experience that blissful state constantly for the first 2500 years. After that, after becoming body conscious, we can no longer stay blissful, so we had to depend on the external environment to derive happiness for a temporary period. So that's how we become addicted to sensual pleasures, and also we got addicted to 5 vices like lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, because of which we start committing more and more sins, because of which we are getting punished in the form of diseases, natural calamities, and so many problems. And God reveals this in the last 100 years and makes us soul conscious again. And also we need to consider ourselves to be the souls and to remember God as a point of light as much as possible. It is this God that we Hindus call Shiva, and Muslims call Allah, and Christians call Heavenly Godfather. So God is just one, and He comes only once, and the direct teachings of God is also just one, which He gives directly in the last 100 years. So it is because He doesn't have a body on His own, it looks as if He is hiding in that old man's body, and He names that old man as Brahma. So when God speaks through Brahma, anyone who is sitting in front of Him is going to easily misunderstand that it is Brahma who is actually speaking. But in reality, it is God using the mouth of Brahma is giving this knowledge. So that is what in Ramayana is represented as Sri Ram hiding behind a tree before shooting an arrow. Actually, that arrow doesn't represent an arrow that kills animals or humans. Instead, not only arrow, all weapons used by Hindu deities represent knowledge. It is an arrow of knowledge that God shoots using the mouth of Brahma. So when someone gets struck by that arrow of knowledge, our devilish qualities is going to disappear, and we are going to be filled with divine qualities. So when someone is filled with devilish qualities, he is called a demon, like Ravan or Vali. So when we destroy the devilish qualities within ourselves and start filling ourselves with divine qualities, we ourselves get converted to Sukriv. So that is why in Ramayana, it is mentioned that Ram asked Sugriv to wear a garland so that he can differentiate between the two. But in reality, that garland represents the divine qualities one develops by listening to this knowledge constantly. So it is not that he wore garland, then Ram shoots the arrow, but it is by getting shot by the arrow of knowledge of God that we become garlanded with divine qualities, which means the Vali within us has died. Well, now we are eligible to take birth in heaven, but is that enough? Because we souls are Sitas and God Shiva is called Rama. Rama is one and all souls are Sitas. So once we become pure and become eligible to enter heaven, it is our duty to help God in retrieving many Sitas from the jail of Ravan. The whole world is a jail of Ravan, because Ravan is nothing but lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego. These five vices are present in men and women. The combined form is called Ravan. So obviously everybody is a slave under the kingdom of Ravan. So God has come to rescue us from the jail of Ravan. If we really understand this knowledge, we cannot stay away from indulging ourselves in doing this seva of rescuing other souls. And that is what represented in Ramayana as Sugriv promising Ram to retrieve Sita. If someone is as bad as Vali in terms of lust and ego, what happens if we start moving friendly with such a person? Obviously, we will also become like that, which means we will also become as weak as him, because lust and anger or ego, they are actually weaknesses. It doesn't represent any strength. So that is what mentioned in Ramayana, as if somebody goes in front of Vali, he will have to lose half of his power to Vali, which can also be said as he is going to become weak. So because Vali is already an embodiment of these weaknesses, so if you go in front of him, obviously you are also going to be influenced by his weaknesses, thereby we also become weak. So that is why God asks us not to mingle with those who doesn't take this knowledge, because not only they are filled with these vices, but they think it is right to be filled with those vices. So we have to stay away from them, we have to protect ourselves before rescuing them by giving this knowledge. Again, it depends on luck. If they accept this knowledge, then they will come out of it. But if you don't protect yourself, and if they are not lucky enough to understand this knowledge, then they will try to brainwash you and make you as bad as themselves. And that is the main reason we have to protect ourselves, like Ram hiding behind a tree. Hope I have cleared all the doubts regarding why Ram hid behind a tree before shooting at Vali. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please share this video with your friends and relatives, because in the whole internet you wouldn't find a single video or text message that reveals this secret. So it is our duty, after getting this knowledge, to spread this message across. Om Shanti.